Now, for more on the ongoing United Nations General Assembly, I am joined by VOA White House correspondent Steve Herman. Steve, thank you for joining us. U.S. President Donald Trump chaired the UN Security Council meeting this morning. What were the highlights of this meeting?
Yeah, it's a very unusual scene because this is only the third time that a U.S. president has taken the gavel at the Security Council. Barack Obama did it twice, and when they did that, there was some resolution on the table, but that wasn't the case today. This was supposed to be a session devoted to non-proliferation, but as he is wanted, President Trump sort of broadened the definition of that, and much of his commentary was about Iran, and specifically warnings to Iran and warnings to any of those who continue to do business with Iran after the United States withdrew from that 2015 nuclear agreement. A little bit about North Korea in there, and those were mostly positive things. The president looking forward to a second summit with North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, which he indicated could happen in a matter of months.
Now, Steve, he also spoke about personal distractions right here at home.
Yes, well, there are a lot of distractions for the president while he is here in New York this week. Of course, we had what's being referred to as that fire drill with whether the #2 person at the Justice Department who oversees the Russia investigation was resigning or being fired. The president, again, making comments that he'll be fired tomorrow. And then also there is the distraction of the Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, who is facing all sorts of accusations from various individuals, women from his past, who say that he either made some sort of a sexual assault on them or he witnessed that. So a lot of distractions for the president while he's here.
Steve, we've had the president talk about the unfair trade deals. But again, now we hear him mention China, not on the unfair trade deals, but also about meddling in the midterm elections here in the U.S.
Yes, we've heard a lot about Russia meddling in the 2016 presidential election that led to the Trump victory. But in the past couple of days, the White House now speaking about Chinese interference in this year's midterm election, which will happen in November, and the president telling the Security Council that the Chinese don't want him to be victorious, namely his party, because he's not on the ballot in November, because he's being so tough on trade. No specific details yet about exactly what the president's referring to as far as any evidence of that.
And his plate, Steve, appears to be full. What do you expect to hear from him in his address this afternoon?
Well, he's going to give a news conference at 5 o'clock local time. It's very rare that the president does a news conference. He's done a number of these so-called bilaterals in the East Room of the White House or in the Rose Garden when there's another leader beside him. And, you know, the big headline coming out of that could be some question that some reporter from somewhere in the world, because we're told 300 reporters are being invited, could ask him, and the president makes an off-the-cuff remark, and we have new outrage and new headlines. So stay tuned, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for reporting that for us. We'll also be monitoring what the First Lady will be talking about as she prepares for her trip to Africa. Steve Herman is VOA White House correspondent, reporting live for us there from the United Nations.